Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the News Bulletin at 8, brought to you by our number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nondumiso Vilagata alongside Zaman Zimanze, and here are your top stories. Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says something has to be done to curb violence. Public Service Minister Mablola Masego has announced officially the newly appointed Board of Trustees for the Public Service Pension Fund. The Minister of Urban Development condemns the act of ridiculing the death of police officers, which is making rounds on social media. The news. The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says something has to be done to curb violence. Masuku has said this when his office appeared before the Senate Portfolio Committee on Monday. Masuku has also said there's a child's legislation that will be amended to address the issue of paternity testing.
Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku was before his office's Senate Portfolio Committee on Monday, where he outlined their quarterly performance. Members of the committee appreciated the report and then posed questions on several issues which include violence, paternity, and welfare.
People are just full of animalistic culture. All of a sudden, people no longer respect the sanctity of life. Bantu besifazane inhlonipho lefana ngabe sibanika yona kuyasilahlekela. Lobulukhuni bukuphi angabanjiswa njani ukuthi lento ibe declared some crisis of some sort so that it is given the priority it deserves in terms of fighting it.
Akube nendlela lengentiwa yokuthi lo mntwana lofaka ondluwe kunanga usibhalimbanyana wakhe imbamba. Wonke umuntu lona mnyama sofunza form 1 form 3 wavela uyise. Kasuka mganga sambulale. Wangenda silima hamba ngokuphisa le ngondla umuntu umnyaka engaka. Ngiyase kuneyise.
Food security bill is essential. It's against the law. DPM embrace
Masuku responded to some questions.
Gender-based violence. Sikabe sesibukela ukuthi nangabe lijaha ngiyabona lishaye manje ngose kuyashaya nabili kepha uma sibuka thina sithi asikhulume ngeviolence yini khona la kubulalana khona amadoda lamanye ahambe nje abange sangadubulana namadoda i-violence lo ngeke siyibuke eceleni bese siyabuya sithi kenyalo sesideclaration ngala asale sibuya lesto declaration nalenza bebantwana lokuthi wafuneka sijove sitobonakala letingane mina ngiyavuma kepha umthetho siya-amenda lwebantwana sesiqala le process amen sitofika sikhiyele la ukuthi wena abanye bangahle babe khona la kade umhlonishado kepha sifuna ukuthi nasi-amenda lo mthetho sitatama ngawo wonke manje ikhiyelwe indzaba ye-DNA umntwana naphume esibhedlela ngoba kulokunye akusiwe nje madoda ukhanza sesifucelwa emntweni nathi lesinjani njani yebo sithambile kepha ukhanza ukuthi ngena la yona thakhona ihambe yolomnye umfula ngale ibuye ngathi elisuthu la seyingenelwe ifawadi ukuthi ithethe ngakuphi awadi wena ndoda ucabanga ukuthi nje ngimi kuphela kanti cha kunebandla lelendlula la.
Who said other responses will be provided in writing. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Muzim Konda, Parliament.
The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Princess Melane, says it prized them that all legislations get royal accent before being passed into law. The minister has said this when giving a report of his ministry's quarterly performance before its Senate Portfolio Committee. The minister also says they are hopeful that the Fire and Emergency Service Bill will also go through the same process soon.
Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Prince Melane, says they are proud that all bills have to get real assent before being passed into law. The minister was reporting on how his ministry performed in the first quarter of the year, where he spoke about bills and rates.
Real estate professionals bills. Kuphindze kube ne-residential tenancies bill. Le residential tenancies bill che vele sesike sawenda ema-workshop nesive ngoba lapho siconze ukuthi sibuke ihlala kahle yabo le ndoda nalaba labaqashile ngoba ukhanza ukuthi kuyalumela ababonisani ngaliso linye khuluma ngekwakhiwa kwemthetho wakafire lesithi i-fire rescue and emergency services lo munye umthetho i-rating act njengoba siyakhumbula nje sihlalo kwekuthi takhiwo tatheliswa akutheliswa siqu semuntu nothi mbovu sibani mina bangenyanyile mina bangididela onjanje yana kutheliswa lesakhiwo uyawubuka ukuthi ke kusahamba kahle yini ngosami eMaswati laba nje ingosikade ithite kuthitwe nabongwane umsiyoni wami akuhlanganiswe bemadoloba basho ukuthi
members of the committee posed questions.
Tikolenda njani kunaba le bahlala emadolobheni abasakhona ukubhadala ama-rates laba bekunene. Ukwendile minister isikhathi se-COVID siyakubonga kakhulu lokho baqhamuka neplan yokuthi kuma-rates kuma-rents lapha kuma-stand wathi abesilise kancane phela kuma-stand mhlawumbe beqise inyanga mhlawumbe kutabe Eswatini ukuthi abantu babonakalele. Silikhulu nesimo esibhekene naso Mr Minister nyalo ingabe iminister etiweni layo uthi nje libonele la bekunene ama-rates manje ukuthi gabe kunene kutabe betele interest asenibone ukuthi mhlawumbe nibhadala njani lama-rates eme lama-interest lakhula.
Nginemicabango ukuthi kumbe indvuna idayithinza lendzawo etisebenta kafaya lokubonakala ukuthi kunetindzawo lapho infrastructure ikhona kodwa kusele letisebenta. Bengingafisa lokuva nje sihlalo indvuna isifake esithombeni ukuthi isancenga uhulumende ngema-negotiations kokuthi letisebenta ticashwe ngame ikuphi.
At the time of compiling this report, the minister had not responded to questions from the committee. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Mbabane.
Public Service Minister Mabulala Masego has officially announced the newly appointed Board of Trustees for the Public Service Pension Fund. Masego says the board has been appointed in terms of the Public Service Pensions Order of 1993. We have a report.
Public Service Minister Mabulala Masego says the Public Service Pensions Fund was established for the management and administration of pensions for government employees. Masego says the newly appointed Board of Trustees has the responsibility to grow the fund from its current 30 billion worth of assets to 35 billion in the next 3 years.
I charge you to ensure that the funds of the organization are properly managed and that its assets are invested in entities where they will make more profits. As the Board of Trustees, you are to ensure that the fund grows from where it is today, 30 billion in assets, to over 35 billion in the next 3 years, for the benefits of its members who are government employees. I am hopeful that as the board, you will work with integrity, transparency, and professionalism, and that you will also work well with the relatively new Chief Executive Officer, Babe Masocha Vilagati. I wish you success as you execute your responsibilities and make the nation proud as the fund is contributing massively to the economic development of the country.
Newly appointed PSPF Chairman Semi Dlamini says he is confident that the new board will take the fund to the next level of efficiency.
The new and incoming board members will add necessary luster to the board because of their broad experience. This team of 10 extremely talented individuals, Minister, is responsible to take this fund to the next level of efficiency.
The new Board of Trustees will be in office for the next 3 years, where they will be carrying their responsibility to make good investments and generate benefits as they manage and administrate public service pensions. Sifiso Ngumalo with Smuva Shongwe for Eswatini TV News, Mbabane.
Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Princess Melane, has passed his condolences to their majesties, the nation, police and families of the 2 police officers who passed away in a car accident on Saturday. He says it is disheartening to learn that some people are making fun of the accident on social media. The minister says it is now clear to him why God said he regrets creating man.
On Saturday, 7 police officers were involved in a car accident that left 2 dead. Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Prince Melane, told his ministry's Senate Portfolio Committee that it was heartbreaking that some people were now making fun of the deceased officers on social media. The police officers were involved in the accident while on their way to retrieve a child who had been reported to have drowned. The minister thanked fire and emergency personnel for retrieving the body of the minor who had drowned.
Ngililela wona emakhosi hulumende sive semaswati emaphoyisa imndeni yalamaphoyisa lathola ihlekelele yengoti aya kulomsebenzi bekuyakutakula lomfana lusashonile labaqhubekile bochifaya ukuthi kuyosenjetho ngiseselapho che ngiteke lomunye athi lokhu ku social media leku Facebook lapha kuthuka khona kukhulunywa kabi ngebantu abebana bashonile ngiloyo ukhuluma lokwa kuthi kuyendiwa lokho na kepha ke che kuthe kunjalo kwangikhumbuta inkulumo lekhulunywa nguNkulunkulu kuGenesis 6 verse 7 ateke indzaba yekwanza bebubi bekona uthi uNkulunkulu ngiyathi sola kwekuthi umuntu ngimendele.
Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini also commented on the matter.
Siyadililela ngebantu abethu labashonile kule ngoti yemoto bathi bayophalala. Ngithi siyadililela ngoba emaphoyisa abantu abethu dihlobo tethu ngitsho njalo nje nakuyiso sive sethu ngithi awu maswathi lamahle asibone ukuthi bantu abethu labatalwa ngithi.
For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Vumikosi Nzinisa, Parliament.
Principals will now be hired without waiting for cabinet approval, which will make the filling of vacant posts in schools more effective. This has been revealed by the Minister of Public Service, Mablala Masego, who says they have worked with the Minister of Education to ensure the policy is effected.
The Ministry of Public Service, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, has come up with a policy that will ensure that the hiring of principals does not need the approval of Cabinet. The Minister of Public Service, Mabulala Masego, says this will ensure schools remain operational even if principals leave or are deceased. He continues to say this will also ensure that there are no ghost employees.
Uhulumende uhambe wabona kufanele ukuthi bothishela ikakhulu abo head teacher ngoba kude esikole lesingasebenza kude head teacher abavele bona sale bangasa monitor ngile secular number 3 kepha nje litiko le public service libambisene nelitiko la education sebangaqasha bangakayi ukuthola i-cabinet approval lesikubonga kakhulu ke ngobe uyukhanza sithishela so retire lomnye kumbe uhambile emhlabeni lomnye kumbe ngathi izathu letitsite soyobuka ema-greener pastures sesithi ke leso sikolo asingasafarishi avele nje athi nakahamba head teacher sibe simreplace ngaleso sikhathi.
The president of the Eswatini Principals Association, Welcome Mhlanga, says this is a good initiative by government. He says it will ensure smooth operations of schools.
Asikubonge lokho siyakuthumisa into lenhle ngoba tishara omkhulu vele ngumuntu oqala ofuna bekhona esikolweni kungakabi nabothishela kungakabi nebantwana yena afuna bekhona bona ukuthi isikolo asilungele kubemukela bantwana so ke lebe sesikubona kulamalanga ngokuthi isikolo asiyachubeka nje kude botishara abakhulu kuyingoti ke lo waphela tishara omkhulu ngiyena sayina imali tesikolo abuka nje lema operation onke so nakungekho yena ngibani ke lo sayina lethi imali ngibani ophasisako ngibani nje lo khomba isikolo ukuthi sibhekapi so siyakubonga ke ngaleso sizathu kakhulu sithemba lokuthi nalapho siva khona sipotishela labakhulu kude sebataba khona masinyane tikola toqhubeka kahle.
Government says this policy is in line with its mandate of providing quality education. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla with Mbongwa Dube Mbabane.
The Minister for Public Works and Transport, Chief Ndlahlaza Ndwandwe, says government is ready to start the construction of the Mochanes-Gangeni Road as promised. The minister said this after the residents expressed concerns over the delayed start of the project, which government had announced it will commence on the 8th of this month.
Last month, the Minister of Public Works and Transport, Chief Ndlahlaza Ndwandwe, commissioned the construction of the Mochanes-Gangeni Road, which was due to start on Monday the 8th. Having this in mind, the residents of these two communities assembled at Egupheleni at a place called Swazi, hoping Roots Construction Company will show up so they can look for jobs. The residents say they arrived as early as 5 a.m., but at around 10 a.m. they had already started dispersing as the construction company was not in sight. The minister says the fact that the construction company did not show up at the site does not mean the construction process has not started. He says the company is already at an advanced stage of starting construction.
Ekuqaleni kusebenta kwecontract kuba kuthi kwaqala ithole indzawo la itawubeka khona ibeke ama-office ayo khona netinto tekusebenta ukuthi titoba tudane leko ngumsebenzi bobhekile namhla kulesigaba ke lokhuluma ngaso sekuthi bantu balena badelezele umsebenzi ngicabanga ukuthi kube sekukhulumisana nini ngaphela icontract iyadihlela idihlele kwavunyelana ukuthi tawuthenza inkundla ngelusuku lapho khona kutafanele ukuthi iqashe labo le ngabaqasha ngicabanga ukuthi kushiyana ekhulumisaneni nje ukuthi sivekele sifuna kusebenza singasonzelani ukuthi mhlambe kubuke lawo mathuba.
The Mochanes-Gangeni Road is about 6.5 kilometers and it will cost about 29.7 million emalangeni. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ndlangamandla with Mbongwa Dube, Egupheleni.
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade has called for entries for companies interested in being part of the Eswatini Quality Awards. The criteria of the awards allows the inclusion of both large enterprises and medium enterprises. The winners will be revealed in November this year.
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade has released a press statement announcing the start of accepting entries for the 5th annual Eswatini Quality Awards. The awards are a product of the SADC Council of Ministers of Trade, which were founded in 2009. The awards are aimed at recognizing both public and private organizations that have made effort and commitment to promoting quality produce. Organizations are awarded in various categories, namely Company or Organization of the Year, Product of the Year, Service of the Year, Exporter of the Year, Quality Individual of the Year, and lastly, the Conformity Assessment Body of the Year. The statement also mentions that the entry forms are available on the government's website and the Eswatini Standards Authority website. Furthermore, the application should be submitted physically at the Deputy Prime Minister's office, the Regulatory and Quality Infrastructure Development Department, or electronically to the email addresses stipulated on the entry forms on or before the 30th of September. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Thandukuhle Mdluli, Babane.
Civil servants across all ministries heed to Minister's call of report to work on Monday, despite the threatening reports that were circulating in social media. One of the key ministries' Home Affairs officers were operating normally.
Civil servants in all the ministries reported to work on Monday. This follows threatening reports that were circulating on social media advising civil servants, teachers and transport sector to stop operating. Maswati came in their numbers to seek for government services. The Ministry of Home Affairs was among those ministries that were working normally. The communications officer in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Mlanve Dlamini, says all the Home Affairs service centers were working, although the Manzini Service Center had challenges that were resolved. Dlamini says people came for passports, birth and death certificates.
Kusile nje bantu baphuma bayangena bendabona donatifike ekutalwa tekushona tekuthathana njengaloku ubona nje nalamva kwami yonke indzawo litiko letasekhaya liyasebenza.
Government spokesperson Alpheus Nxumalo stated that on Monday it will be business as usual for all sectors. For Eswatini TV News on Domlangeni, Mbongwa Dube, Babane.
Kango Advocacy and Coordination Manager Lungile Mnisi is representing the Kingdom of Eswatini in Kenya, where she is one of the 93 observers of the country's elections. These observers have been deployed by the African Union and COMESA in Kenya as part of the two organizations' first fully-fledged joint mission. A joint statement by the AU and COMESA states that the observers have been deployed in 38 countries and they arrived in their areas on Monday. They will be on the ground until August 15, while the long term will remain until 20th August. The team of observers comprises of 7 former presidents, prime ministers and members of parliament. Dear viewers, now take a look at our financial updates.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV, and for your sports news tonight, Eswatini Rugby Union Secretary General Bonkosi Dlamini says the return of the 7-a-side rugby league after a period of over 2 years has proved that clubs and players still have work to do in terms of improving the standard of the league in the country. Dlamini was speaking to Eswatini TV Sports Desk after the return of the 7-a-side rugby league this past weekend.
Eswatini Rugby 7-a-side league returns after a period of over 2 years without action due to different circumstances that include the coronavirus pandemic. The association's Secretary General Bonkosi Dlamini says despite the return of the league, the standard within the teams and the players is still low.
Kudlalile kwaba ilanga lelihle kakhulu. Kunaloku nje kube kukhomba ukuthi imidlalo yethu isese badlali basengasi that fit emva kokuthi sibe lesikhathi esizanyana singadlali. Kepha nje kuyakhombisa lesasasa likhulu lekuthi batawufuna kudlala and kusafuna kusisi imidlalo siyingede emkhathini wabadlali.
Some of the results, Buffaloes defeated Malkin Center, while Titans also defeated Mbabane Cheetahs. Elephants saw off Titans, while Mbabane Jaguars also defeated Malkin's Center. Elephants were able to defeat Mbabane Cheetahs, while Buffaloes also managed to defeat Mbabane Jaguars. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msondera, pictures sourced from Rugby Union.
Ladies team suffered their first defeat of the 2022 Total Women CAF Champions League regional qualifiers in the hands of Zambian side Green Buffaloes. Buffaloes coach Fisiwe Hlophe says it was a great exposure for her side, even though they did not get good results.
Young Buffaloes ladies team faced Green Buffaloes ladies team in the opening fixture of their regional Total CAF Women Champions League in Durban in the Republic of South Africa. It was not a great result for the local giants as they suffered a 4-0 defeat in the hands of the Zambian side. Buffaloes ladies coach Fiswet Lope says despite the defeat, her players got great exposure ahead of their second game against Olympic de Morine.
Is that my players, they played, we tried our best, more especially in the first half. It's just that we conceded some silly goals. It was a good experience for us. I will say congratulations to the Green Buffaloes.
Buffaloes' next encounter will be on Thursday. On Tuesday this week, Green Buffaloes will face Olympic de Morine and are likely to get automatic qualification as log leaders of Group B and ready to face the winners of Group A. In Group A, the defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns humbled Costa del Sol from Mozambique with an 8-1 victory as they prepare their next game against Double Action Ladies from Botswana on Tuesday. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabiso Musanana, pictures sourced from Kosafa.
That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.